Everything is going extremely well.
And now, Showtime.
There we go. Hey, why am I over to this side? Let's bring me up here. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show today. Just getting this going. So, basically everything you've been taught to value is absolute trash when it comes to your Facebook ads. Your dashboard is crap. The metrics you've been taught to value are crap. The way you've been taught to think about things are completely wrong. And if you want to actually be successful, the path to that future that you deserve is actually not terribly difficult to achieve. We just have to start thinking about what actually matters and what numbers are really important. So let's start by punching some holes and saying some truths. Let's be brutally honest about a lot of the lies you've been told. Number one, ROAS doesn't mean anything. And I hear you. It's how can revenue divided by ad spend not matter? Well, we'll get to more of that here in a minute. That's why I sell t-shirts, say fuck ROAS. Other things that don't matter when it comes to your Facebook ads. CPC, completely irrelevant. We'll break that down too. For that matter, CTR, completely irrelevant. If you're trying to get better results, hook rate is interesting information and can help in some decision making, but hook rate has nothing to do with bank account. ROAS has nothing to do with bank account. CPC has nothing to do with bank account. CTR has nothing to do with bank account. Most of the things you've been taught to value have nothing to do with the thing you're trying to get. In my world, if the information isn't actionable, if it doesn't help me save time or make more money, it's basically there for personal gratification. Things like ROAS is little more than pornography. And it is unhealthy, toxic, and wasting your time in your bank account. So let's talk about the 4 metrics, the numbers you actually need to know. We're going to explain why they work. We're going to explain how to find them. And I'm going to give you some real-world examples from an ad account that I'm working with right now on a brand that is spending 6 figures a week. And why chasing down all of the metrics you've been told to care about destroyed their profitability. And why in less than an hour, and looking at these 4 metrics that I'm going to show you, we were able to turn that ship around and literally get everything back on track. And it's not just hyperbole. I'm going to show you screenshots of the entire ad account along the way. So with that all being said, I hope you're enjoying. If you have any questions today, throw them up in the chat. We will bring those questions on the call today. I would love to answer any questions that you've got. Also, big shout out to everybody. This week I want to start by just sharing one of my favorite things to do, is kind of making these happen every single week. Let's just give a shout out to all of the new members of Disruptor Academy over on school. So let's start there and then get into all of the things you need to know. So I'm going to share my screen. Boom. Love it. All right. Now, you can join Disruptor Academy at this link down here. Remember, you can join up there. I think it is no longer free. I might have to update that. We took away the 7-day free trial because we had a lot of people coming in basically to steal all the information and then leave. And to be fair, I don't want people that don't take it seriously. The quality of the community has grown 10x since making it not a 7-day free trial. So all of that, we might turn it around. I think we've discouraged the black market a little bit. So anyway, shout out to Maris, Billy Mackey, Theo, Nav, Andy G, Rada, Nicholas, Sam. Okay, I think now we're into last week, but these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 new people that have jumped in since the last time we hopped on a call. So big shout out to them. Great to see it. Very happy to have you. Also, please, if you're interested in what we're doing here and you really want to take it to the next level, the MBA program is exactly what we're looking for. Now, exactly what you're looking for. Now, let's get into what we're actually trying to do today. I want to get 3 things covered. First, let's break down why return on ad spend means absolutely nothing. The concept of return on ad spend is built around attribution. Basically saying whoever was the last person to touch something takes credit for all of the work. So if you work and slave away in school and getting the best book report you possibly can in the class project with the group and everything, and then I hand it to the teacher, does that mean that I deserve an A and you should fail? No, but that's the way you're running your ads. The bottom line is the last touch is what you see in the ad account, either view on or click. But the last touch isn't the reason something happened. And to prove that, if you turn all of your ads off, you're going to get sales tomorrow. And tomorrow's ROAS is essentially going to be infinite. Because people bought on ads they saw today and yesterday. And that ad they saw today and yesterday is not the first time they saw an ad from you and other things from your competitors. They've been in market for a while. And to be fair, the customer journey isn't days or weeks long. It's a lifetime. The reason I have this Be Nice to Dogs t-shirt isn't because I saw the ad and I was like, oh, look at that. Those are fun colors. No, it's because this is clearly a sign that's like beware of dog, that's in pop culture. Like, I'm a dog owner. That's something I've done I've been a dog owner for over 20 years. Like, my entire life has brought me to the point where this shirt works for me versus something else. The point to this is your ad is not the reason somebody's interested in the product. Your ad is not the reason somebody discovers that there's a solution. Your ad is not the reason somebody's interested in buying. Your ad does nothing other than earn somebody's attention while they're in the process of enjoying social media. Your ad is a burden. It is a billboard in the sky destroying the sunset. It is a burden on people. Why we need to understand this? All right, group chat. Let's go. All right, I got it. Okay. I'm in this group chat with the guys from like Avi and Creative OS and Fermat and some other agencies, and they're just blowing up the group chat right now. All right, guys, calm down. I know. I showed this, by the way, what I'm going to show you today to those folks and to True Classic and Original Grain and to Portland Leather Goods. And, well, I'm not going to just name drop all the people that are on my text message list, but let's just say brands that will spend more today than you will this month are just now blowing me up all morning long. Like, holy shit, this is the solution to the problem. This is exactly the fix. We found all the problems exactly in the way that you said and fixing it in the way that you told us to do. So we're going to unpack all of that. The point of ROAS is the revenue today is not because of the ad spend today. The ad spend today is also not only going to produce revenue today. Also, that revenue today is not a completely holistic view of all of the revenue that you got today, unless it is all of your revenue and then all of your ad spend, in which case it's not even ROAS, that's MER. That's MER, which is a fancy version of ROAS, also complete bullshit. Do you want a 1.6? Okay. Why did that happen? Well, because of our ads, X, Y, and Z. Like, okay, so if your MER is good because your ads are good, what you're telling me is that your email and search are complete trash. You have no existing buyers. The point is, the solution is so much more complicated than the ego of the media buyer. So why is CPC terrible? Why should we not care about that? I got a question. Every week in Disruptor Academy, we do live calls. And the last question that we had last week, live calls with me, and they're great. The recording, you can see all the history and everything. It's hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. Yeah, like I know right now it's, I think, $1,900 plus to get on a call with me for an hour, or for $97 a month, you could join Disruptor Academy and we could speak every single week. Honestly, Disruptor Academy should be like way more expensive, but whatever. I'll raise the price later. The point here is simple. The question was, my CPC is okay. My CTR is great. Is the problem my website? And what I told him was this. One, CPC doesn't matter. The cost per click has nothing to do with the level of intent or interest or sentiment. In search, there is an implied intent and sentiment. I'm not looking for your product or service or offer unless I want it. Or I'm looking up to research it because of some negativity. But the point is, people generally don't search for things, products, and then click on the ad in search because they have no interest. They don't do that because they're not aware. They do that because they're ready. They're looking, they have their credit card out looking to shop. Social media isn't like that. Remember, that is somebody going into the store trying to find something. Social media is a billboard in the sky, blocking the sunset. Those are two very different levels of intent. Now we get to CTR. So with that being said, remember, CPC doesn't mean anything. Tricking somebody into buying has nothing to do with actually getting decent people. It's like leads. The lower cost the lead, the shittier it is. The lower cost to click, the shittier it is. Doesn't mean that high cost clicks are good. It just means that measuring the cost per traffic or a qualified user in some way is a terrible way of running a business because none of that information is actionable. Remember that actionability. If this low CPC is the success, then only run ads with a low CPC. And basically, at that point, you're just going to have a super high volume of people who will never buy and run out of money. People click on ads. Again, they're not necessarily looking to buy. They might not even think good about something. People click on content because it triggers something in them. But people search for things because they're looking to make a purchase. Also, when we get to CTR, the reason your CTR is high is because your ads are bad. Let me say this again. The reason your CTR is good is because your ad is bad. Why? Because the reason your CTR is good, remember, anytime somebody talks to you in a fraction, it's because they're lying to you. ROAS, lie. MER, lie. CTR, lie. Conversion rate on your website, complete trash. Shout out to Dylan Ander, Heat Map. Love that guy. These are all lies, okay? If people can't give you clear dollars and cents or rand or lira or euro or whatever, then what they're trying to do is obfuscate the truth. 30% better half the time doesn't mean anything. CTR, how could a good CTR possibly be a bad thing? Why? Okay, let me tell you. If it costs me the same amount of money, let's say for whatever I'm spending, let's say $20 US, I reach 1,000 people. I have an impression of 1,000. And we're going to get into the dashboard and explain this more in a minute with like real world case studies here, okay? Of brands that I work with directly. And the kind of information that I send to all of the folks that you know in public that is not blowing up my group chat because they're all looking at their data and like, oh my God, like 100% of them are like, oh shit, this is the thing. I was like, yeah, that's why you guys should be paying attention. And we're all homies, right? They blow my mind on shit I feel like I should have known. So it's not one way or the other, just, for what it's worth. By the way, let me know where you're from. Roberto from Shout Out from Sarasota. What up? Good to see you. Saddam, good to see you. All right, Ecom Teddy, good to see you. Let me know where else you are all from. I love to know. Okay, now getting back to this. When we're trying to understand what's going on in the business, and we're looking at California, nice. When we're looking at click-through rate, if I spend $20 to get 1,000 impressions, first off, we don't know if that frequency is a 1 or like a 3. I don't know if I'm reaching 1,000 people or 300. Doesn't matter. If I reach 1,000 people and I get, let's say I get 10 clicks, that's a 1% click-through rate. And let's say out of that, I get one sale. That's a 10% conversion rate on a 1% click-through rate on 1,000. That's pretty good, all things considered. Let's just use that as the baseline. Now, if for the same money out of my pocket, I reached 2,000 people. So instead of a $20 CPM, it's a 10. And out of that, instead of getting 10 clicks, I got 15. Let's say, let's keep it just going. And out of that 15, let's say I got 3 sales. Now my CTR looks a lot worse because it's not 1,000 divided by 10. It's 2,000 divided by 15. That's worse, right? 10% or 1% would have been 20, right? So now our CTR has gone down, but we made 3 sales. 1, because we got 50% more traffic, and 2, because our ads are better. How do we know that? The CPM. The CPM is a way of the machine telling what the experience is. We're going to dive much deeper into this here in just a little bit. I'm going to tell you what the 4 metrics are that are going to make you rich and break down each one. I just want you to understand the reason your CTR is high is because the denominator in the fraction is low. That's it. It's one number divided by another number. The smaller this little number, the number is on the bottom, the higher your CTR. Generally speaking, the reason the number on the bottom is low, is a smaller number, is because your ads are shit. And if you optimize for CPC, trying to make the higher number, really the number of higher number in that fraction higher by focusing on just getting clicks for cheaper, well, 1, that's going to destroy your CTR anyway, right? Like if you push down CPC, your CTR is going to already have an impact. It's going to probably look good, but again, you're just doing a much better job of bringing lower quality people into your store. A high CTR is a red flag. There's not an actual argument to be made on social media that a high CTR is a good thing. It is a red flag. I want to be very clear with that. So what are the metrics that we really need to understand? What are the things that we need to know? And just shout out real quick. This is this is scratching the surface of what we cover in the MBA program. And I just want to just for one quick second here, show this. And then we're going to dive into, nope, not that one. We're going to dive into these metrics here. And I see some questions lining up and we're going to get to them. By the way, this is all the kind of stuff that we cover in the MBA. So if you're interested in this, it's disruptorschool.com/MBA. It's rerouting to Meta MBA. But anyway, you can check this out. The link is in the description of like every YouTube video that I have. And by the time you're watching this, if you're not watching it live, it'll be in the description of this video on YouTube as well. But this is, again, just scratching the surface of all of this stuff. It's why Bailey was able to 10x. It's why Mike was able to get to 8 hours, from 8 hours a day to a few hours a week. It's why she was seeing the most sales and higher confidence than ever before. You don't have to take my word for it. You can watch these videos, and they're not like cherry-picked, edited things. They're just raw uploaded footage, okay? Everything you need is in here. We can talk about this another time. This isn't a sales pitch. I just want you to understand that this is the kind of stuff that I usually charge thousands and thousands and thousands to teach people. Now, Jesus, I'm going to deal with your question, and then we're going to dive into these 4 metrics, okay? Ad fatigue. Our media buyer brought it up since our sales decrease, but I call BS on ad fatigue. Yeah, ad fatigue is operator error. I did a great video on that. I mean, people have told me it was a great video. I've had CMOs from a lot of 8- and 9-figure businesses passing this video around. It was fun just to see a lot of people, like my buddy Adam and Joshua and the other Joshua. And again, I don't need to just like throw out a Rolodex here, but it is Really, really interesting to see how many of you all are just diving into things. And it's just really, really fun to see all of the success you guys are getting. So let me show you this. Okay. This video here, this video here is a much deeper dive on the concept of ad fatigue and why it's total bullshit and what you need to actually care about. Okay. This video here, I spent $1 billion testing Facebook ads, and I learned this. And by the way, this video is also a deep dive into what we're talking about today. And I shout out a really incredible tool called Foreplay that I've been recommending. I think they were a gimmick. I think they weren't really figuring stuff out, and then they hit it. Then they hit it. They hit the they got the killer app, man. They just absolutely fucking nailed it. But if you watch through this video, again, I screen share ad accounts, I teach you everything, I show you all the tools. Like, this video is slammed full of stuff. It's like 20 minutes long. Anyway, that all being said, let's see this. Ad Nova better than Foreplay and Atria for value considering price? No. Foreplay, giant gap. Motion, giant gap. Everybody else. That's my opinion, Ecom Teddy. And there's things that places are good for. I'm going to tell you this way. If you want to know the impact of your ads on your bank account in a way that is easy to visualize and communicate to people that aren't necessarily in Ads Manager all the time, and you are trying to understand the why behind things, Foreplay is really the only option. That's the option that I recommend. I am blasting them out right now because I want you to be successful, and giving you the best tools for the job is how I do that. Now, but please keep the questions coming. You're welcome, Jesus. I love it. Now, let's get into what actually matters. These are the 4 metrics that are actually going to change everything. Okay. I'm going to bring this to the stage. This is a real ad account. Currently spending about $40,000, $50,000 a day. And they're struggling. Now, I've hid the campaign names. I want you to know that these are broken down by week. It's the last 30 days broken down by week. This is not all the campaigns in the ad account, but we are, one, there's a lot of campaigns. We're going to probably simplify that. And 2, I just want you to know the data you're looking at. Okay. So let's get to it. Now, there's some really interesting things here. First, I want you to see, if we look at the top, it's the last week, and then the line below that is the week before. Now, I'm going to break down these columns left to right, and then we're going to actually get into what all the stuff means, okay? So let's break these columns down. Amount spent. How much money did you spend on the campaign? Or at the ad set or ad level, how much did that ad earn? Remember, ad spend is earned. Ad spend is a performance metric. If you are trying to control where your ad budget goes, you are trying to micromanage a machine that is smarter than you, and that is half the reason that you're never going to be nearly as successful as possible. Jason, I've seen you mention creative volume and diversity before. When it comes to, it seems most focused on volume, spinning up 100 ads, but that's not how you roll. Why are they wrong, and what's the real deal when it comes to creative volume and diversity? Jason, I have a video on this that's coming out really soon, but diversity just means don't have 12 ads, 5 ads, 3 ads. You don't need to cover that same number. You don't need to hit that concept that wins over and over again. Actually, that video on I spent $1 billion that I mentioned before, that video we break down a tremendous way to have 5 different pools of creative content that are completely diverse and how they connect together. I really recommend you check that video out. It's like 20 minutes long, and it will solve a lot of your problems. As a matter of fact, I might just play that video here for those that are interested in it. so you guys can see some of it. I don't want to necessarily just make this a replay session, but it is just so valuable. We might cherry pick some of it here. Anyway, let's get back to this because I want you to get answers to your questions. So spend is earned. If you're trying to control spend, you are solving the problem the wrong way because you, hi Rita, you are not as smart as the machine. You are not a victim when the machine does what it has told you it is going to do, which is create the best quality user experience for people on the platform. And if that doesn't align with success for your business, it's because you're not using the tool in the right way. Bottom line, operator error. Now, let's get to the next column, frequency. Frequency is what is the audience that is seeing this ad. If the frequency goes up, you are reaching a lower funnel audience. You are hitting people more often. If the frequency goes down, you're hitting people further up the funnel. It's pretty straightforward. That's it. Ads, the higher the frequency, the lower the funnel. Frequency basically just says how often are people seeing this ad. So in this use case, this top line item, 1.61 over the month, means over 30 days, the average 61% of people saw this ad twice. This next ad over this 30 days, 27% of people saw this ad twice. This ad down here, 97% of people saw this ad twice. And this one down here, the average person saw it 2.76 times over 30 days, meaning on average, somebody saw that ad once every 10 days. That's not terrible, in my opinion. This one, 4, which is, now we're talking once every 7 days. But again, frequency is the audience that sees the ad. Okay? That is where they are in the funnel and how the machine is showing them content. Okay? CPM is what is the quality of their experience. The lower the CPM, the higher quality of the experience. The higher the CPM, the lower quality of the experience. When a frequency is higher, when you're reaching people who are lower in the funnel, that is premium inventory. The CPM there will be higher because it is premium inventory. More valuable stuff costs more money. Okay? Premium inventory costs extra. Now, this is one of the metrics that we really need to get into. All right? Cost per 1,000 account centers reached. This is really important. Now, by the way, when we're talking about the 4 metrics here, we're showing them all on the dashboard, and I'll get to here in just a minute. But the reason that this cost per 1,000 account centers reached is really important is because this is essentially combining CPM and frequency. It's saying how much does it cost to actually reach a new person? This is essentially cost per reach, if you want to look at it that way. In our example before where you reached 1,000, you got 1,000 impressions. If your frequency is a 2, then you really only reached 500 people. If your CPM is 20 and you reach, if your CPM is 20 and your frequency is a 2, your cost per 1,000 account centers will be 40. Meaning it's for every dollar you spend, it costs twice that to reach a new person. That means you're hammering people over and over. And if we look through this account, you can see some of these things have huge lifts from CPM to cost per 1,000. For instance, this one at $104,000 last month. 25, it was actually that 25 is almost a 50. Conversely, here at like $20,000 over the month, this 107 became a 137. Now, mind you, the fact that somebody's spending 20 grand on something with 100 plus CPM, that is a red flag. Now, it's not necessarily a bad thing. The unit economics all can map out to something, but like that is a red flag. From these, we also have cost per purchase, which you're used to, which is interesting, but what we really need to know is GPT. GPT is AOV minus CPA. This is how profitable are those transactions. So at $100,000 spent, they went from making $23 a sale to losing $45 a sale. Went from making $16 to losing $237 per sale. Went from making $74 to losing $5 per sale. Are you beginning to see how your ROAS doesn't matter? Your CPA is interesting. But if you only focus on the ads where things are good, like here, 64, 50, 130, all of these, right? Like, well, this audience is bottom of funnel. Okay? The audience here for our campaign that's lower, where we're at $53,000 and the amount spent, that frequency is over a 2x. That's the only place that the GPT is over a 50. But it's not scalable. You can't scale into an audience that is already limited by frequency and CPM. And to point to this, if you look at the weeks, 1 week spent 13,000, and they made on the profit volume column, if you scoot on over, $7,700. Now, if you go back 2 weeks, where they only spent $6,300 on that same audience, on that same campaign, the frequency is 2.13. The CPM was an 8. That means it's a lower funnel audience, and everybody there loved that ad. On half as much spend, they made $400 less in profit. And the new customers, that NC percentage, that's new customer rate, that was 72%. On the week where they only spent $6,300, 72% of their sales were net new. And their profit per sale was nearly 100. They actually made $400 less than when they spent twice as much. And they were far better at getting those sales to be new customers. These are the things that actually matter. So I want to break this down here real quick. What are the metrics that you need to know? Well, simply put, you need to begin to understand the interplay of frequency and CPM. Where is your ad going? And what is the quality of that experience? If you're looking at ROAS, which most people look to, if you look to all of the ads that are crushing, we launch 100 ads a week, their frequency and CPM is going to be high, or the spend is going to be low. And as soon as you start scaling it up, the frequency and CPM and cost per 1,000 account centers skyrockets and the ad fatigues, quote unquote. And it's only because that ad was only effective at a small budget or at the bottom of the funnel. And that happens because every time you launch a new ad, it launches at the bottom of the funnel because the machine wants to see how people would use it. And yeah, Jamie, these are all custom metrics. I will do the best I can to unpack all of this stuff as well as we can today. But I also have a big package that I want to show you guys in a few minutes. But I really want you to begin to understand this stuff. Now, yes, you have amount spent, you have frequency, you have CPM, you have cost per 1,000 account centers, you have cost per purchase. GPT is a custom metric where you do AOV minus CPA. That is your profitability per sale. If you don't know that number, literally nothing else matters. If you want to optimize your profitability of your ad account, don't focus on things with a higher ROAS or lower CPA. Those things are out of context data. Turn off the ads where the cost per purchase is above average and the GPT is below. For instance, let me give you an example of where we did this in this business. Okay? If we begin to look at where these numbers start to get a little wonky and where things look fantastic, we can begin to see where some of these things work. Now, in the campaign at the very top, if you look at the week 4 weeks ago, it spent basically $13,000. And the week afterwards, we spent $7,000. And like, oh, you pulled back. You pulled back, whatever. Okay, sure. Frequency, 1.3, 1.35. Same part of the funnel. CPM, we hit that part of the funnel for exceptionally cheaper. we, in a far more effective way, showed the ads only to the people that were in that part of the funnel that actually cared. So what happened? Well, we did that, one, by cutting out all the high CPA and low GPT ads. We only showed the ads that were actually good on a unit economic basis that the machine actually wanted to show. So again, basically half the ad spend, same part of the funnel, reach those people for 60% of the cost. So much cheaper to reach them on a unit CPM basis, and on a cost per 1,000 account center, it was basically 75% of the cost. So 25% cheaper on total cost per reach, 33% cheaper on CPM. What happened? Our cost per purchase went from 150 to 100. The GPT went from $15 to 75. Let me explain this again, okay? We cut the ad spend from 13,000 to 7 by getting rid of the ads that people didn't want to see, and by pulling back the budget where it wasn't incremental. As a result, we dramatically cut the CPMs and our cost per purchase. And as a result of doing that, our profitability per sale went from $15 to 75. What does that mean? It means every sale was 5 times more profitable. Now, our new customer percentage dropped from 85 to 73, which we tried to fix over the next few weeks, right? And we immediately leaned back into it and things broke basically right away. Because, against better judgment, they just doubled their budgets overnight. Now, look at that profit volume. Went from 1,300 at nearly 13,000 in spend, they made $1,300 profit. At 7,000 in spend, they made 5,300, basically 5,400 in profit. These are the numbers that actually matter. These are the numbers that are going to make you money. These are the things you need to begin to appreciate. If you don't look at these numbers, you're going to just not understand anything that's going on. And now you can't have new customer percentage if you don't have a new customer event. If you want a new customer event, my number one recommendation for you is to get Aimers if you're on Shopify. It is a Shopify plugin. You can go to disruptorschool.com/Aimers. That's AIMERCE. My friend Yichi runs that company. She built Instagram stories and the Reddit ads platform. She has the single best conversion side or server side conversion tool, CAPI tool on the market. And you can get to understanding how much did it cost bringing in a new customer? How many of my ads brought in new customers? This business had a problem getting new customers. We attached this and began to immediately just eliminate the ads that didn't do a good job at bringing in new customers. And I'm going to end on this here real quick before I show you this package. And this campaign that spent $100,000. It's about halfway through, okay? Halfway down the page. If you notice, it was, and this is in reverse chronological order, by the way. So most recent week is on the top, and the furthest week back is on the bottom. The 3,100, by the way, is just the last 2 days. Okay. So ignore that top line. 15, 16, 168, 14. As we began to change what was going on, we moved further down the funnel, right? Frequency went up a little bit. CPM went up a little bit. That makes sense. Now, what happened? The cost per purchase got a little bit higher. Okay. But the percentage of customers in this campaign is well over a 90. No other campaign in this ad account comes close to the volume of sales and how many of them are net new. Yes, the GPT on this is negative, but these are overwhelmingly net new individuals, meaning this campaign is buying future cash flow that will scale the business. If you're only worried about making a profit today, what you are a salesperson, not somebody who runs a business. You need to understand the profitability that you need today in order to keep the lights on and the acquisition of better customers that come back and buy again and again. If you were to break down this entire thing, what you'll see is actually this business over this period of time, the actual all revenue and everything mapped out here, made a lot of money day one. And that doesn't even include search and email and everything else. As a matter of fact, this business made about $600,000 profit in this month. And you look at it and be like, how could you possibly do that where you spend 100 grand losing 12 bucks? And it's like, okay, we spent 20,000 losing $42. Okay, amount spent GPT. Yeah. But look at the other ones. We spent 50,000 where we made 60 bucks on each one. We spent 11,000, we made 56. Now, the places where the GPT is really positive and over 50 bucks, those are with frequencies that are essentially telling us these can't scale. And every time you tried to scale it, it broke. But it's very clear here with these metrics to understand what you can and cannot do. If you get down to the ad level, you're never going to understand this stuff. If you're launching 1,000 ads, you'll never be able to appreciate what the hell is going on. If you're not looking at these numbers, you'll never make nearly as much money as you could. And what I want to leave you here with today more than anything is the understanding that if you're not looking at frequency and CPM, you have no idea what's happening in your business. If you're not looking at the GPT, you have no understanding of the profitability of your marketing efforts. If you're not looking at these numbers, you're never going to get to the place that you want to be. You're just never going to get there. Because ultimately, you're not trying to make money. If you're running your business in that way, what you're trying to do is be the best salesperson who can take credit for the work of the entire team. That is not a scalable solution. All right, give me 1 second here. I'll be right back. Thing we're going to get to here. Do you have a formula? Okay. It looks like this thing I was going to show you guys is bugging out. So let's get to some of your questions. Okay. Do you care about metrics like hook rate? No. Do I care how well a creative grabs the attention of somebody who doesn't buy? Not at all. Do I care about hold rate? Do I really care that people who are never going to buy like to see all of my ads and that teaches the machine to show my ads to people who are never going to buy? No, I don't. Do you think CPM is affected by landing page at all when Meta scans your landing page? Absolutely. The landing page really matters. And it's not that Meta is scanning the landing page and that's the biggest impact. It's do people bounce? If your landing page is shit, if your landing page has a high bounce rate or a low conversion rate, the machine will just charge you higher CPMs because tricking somebody into clicking on your ad gives them a bad experience. And because you are essentially a liability to your business partner, they're just going to stop selling you inventory. It is a luxury to run ads on platforms like Meta. If you abuse that by giving a neglectfully negative experience to the end user, the response of the platform is like, go fuck yourself. We'll let you play the game, but you're going to pay way more than everybody else to do it. I hope that we're starting to make some sense here as to like how these things operate. To Jamie, are these custom metrics? I don't see any of them on my Facebook page. Yeah, Jack, right? Yeah. Anytime you see people, there's this guy, Eddie, that's on my Facebook feed right now, and I see all of his ads around how, like, you're a victim. Facebook is just wasting your money testing a bunch of these ads, and I just constantly comment, like, the only person who's a victim is you if you pay this guy who's giving you fear-mongering and bullshit to try to steal from you because he doesn't know how the platform works. Or he does know how it works, and instead of giving you good advice, he's just preying on like it's just predatory bullshit. And that stuff just bothers the hell out of me. The fact that people try to pay their bills by scaring other folks into saying that their dreams aren't possible by lying to them about something so that they can make the way they do business more difficult is an indefensible business model when it comes to me, my opinions. Now, D-Mac, creating these metrics, GPT is AOV minus CPA. Okay. Average order value. Now you can calculate that if you want to, within parentheses of purchases conversion value divided by number of purchases. Or you can have average order value. I think it's average purchases order value is, if you just type in average, I think it's the only thing that comes up inside of the custom columns. When it comes to AO, when it comes to new customer percentage, you need a new customer event. If you want to get a new customer event, the number one thing I can recommend that you do, let me just share. Let me get into a browser over here. I'm going to share my screen. Let's just get, well, okay. We're over in the YouTube studio. Yeah, let's see over here. I'm going to just hop over to a new window, share this tab instead. Okay. And we're just going to do this. All right. Disruptor School /AIMERCE. It's going to bring you to Disruptor School, and then it's going to forward you over to their Shopify app. Okay. This is Aimers. This is first party pixel data. This works for Meta, Google, and Klaviyo. This is how you're going to know new customers. And what are they buying? You can qualify all of your customers by the products they're buying. We didn't even get into that yet. We don't have time for that today. But I will be dropping a course video on catalog ads, and that is basically what the entire course video is all about. I mean, that's not true. It's one of, like, that video is over 2 hours long. I think 30 minutes of it, 20 to 30 minutes of it is on product catalog, is on categories and sets and metric data. Like, if the person running your ads right now can't tell you what product that ad is selling, and it is not necessarily the product you're promoting, okay? I see match rates on ads. If I'm selling, I don't know, if I'm selling this Steelers, if I have an ad trying to promote this Steelers AirPod holder, and I've got 100 other products on my store, odds are, at max, 80% of the people that buy are buying this thing, meaning 20% of the people that click on that ad are buying something else. You're like, why would somebody click on the ad and buy something else? My response is, have you ever gone anywhere and spent money on anything that wasn't promoted? Like, if you went to a restaurant, did you ever order anything other than was in the commercial? If you ever went to McDonald's because you saw a billboard for a Big Mac, did you ever get fries? The ad gets your attention. That's all the ad is, okay? Now, getting back to this, new customer percentage is new customers divided by overall purchases. And again, this metric is helpful, but it's also a lie, all right? I told you, percentages are lies. This is also a lie. But it lets us know of the sales coming in, how much of those are net new individuals. Why that matters is if some ads are really good at the ad level, we can see, oh, this ad is a CPA that's 10% less. Yeah, but only 5% of the people that buy are net new. Let's say an ad is coming in at $50 where 90% of them are new. And we have another ad coming in at 45, but only 5% of them are new. Which one of those ads is going to get you more revenue? I'll give you a hint. It's not the one selling to repeat customers at a lower price. And you could say, well, I'm going to do exclusions to make sure that existing customers don't see my ads. Or you could just turn off the ads that appeal to existing customers. You can exclude by just eliminating the ads that are liabilities to your business model. The more ads you have, the lower quality that data is, the longer it's going to take you to understand any of this stuff. And the dumber the machine is, the more you're relying on just dumb luck to run your business. And generally, the businesses that work doing that are run by really, really good business operators. And eventually, they all grow out of doing that. But if you're copying how a 9-figure business does work, understand that you're chasing the wrong thing. Don't look at Fabletics or don't look at how many ads True Classic is running. You don't have the problems they have. You're not Ridge. You're not Portland Leather. You're not Original Grain. Right? You're not insert any other brand, right? You're not Dr. Squatch. You're not Dollar Shave Club. They're trying to solve problems 10 times bigger than your entire business. And they're trying to do it in a way that also makes sure everybody in the business keeps their job. Their needs are very different than yours. Don't follow their strategies. It's a great way to destroy your business. Now we have profit volume is essentially just purchase conversion value minus ad spend. Think of it also as AOV minus GPT times number of purchases. That's another way of looking at it. Okay. Or AOV minus, it's essentially GPT times number of purchases. I don't know why I said it the wrong way. That was weird. So you can see that basically, we made $17 times 230 sales. Yeah, that's $5,000. Yeah. We lost 12, around 700 sales. Yeah, that's about right. That's how we're figuring this math. But your profit volume is purchase conversion value minus spend. Simple. If you don't know this number, how do you have any idea what's profitable or not? Well, you're looking at the ROAS of an ad. What's the scale of that? A percentage doesn't tell you an absolute value. Do you want the highest ROAS ads? Or do you want to make more money? Average order value here is just we built this before the machine brought it in, but you can also just do this is simply purchase conversion value divided by purchases, but it's also now as a column. This column, by the way, is purchases new. We have AMRs. AMRs tells us of all the customers, how many were net new. Now you can try to get to new customers by excluding a whole bunch of people, or you could just turn off the ads that are doing a better job at attracting the attention of folks who've already bought. Now, if you look at this, the campaign that's been 104 is 90% net new customers. We lost $12 on the sales. If you look at the campaign right below that, it's only 60% net new customers. And we made $57 profit on every sale. We were hyper profitable because the first sale is the least profitable. Every sale after that is worth way more money. If you notice, the AOV on the more profitable is substantially higher. The CPA is lower. We can upsell people because they've already experienced the brand. We can sell more valuable things. We can charge more to sell higher priced items. But most of the people that are, in this case, 40% of the people that buy, it's not their first sale. So yes, the sales are a lot cheaper. But if you know that everybody's going to buy, let me put it to you this way. If you know the average person buys 2.5 times, when it's somebody's second purchase, you have a 50% chance they're ever going to buy again. If it's somebody's first purchase, you are almost certain that they're going to buy at least one more time. When you buy a new customer, their value to the business is far greater than getting somebody who already bought to buy again. So when you combine these two campaigns, it's actually very profitable. Understanding that a lot of the folks in the second one bought from the first one earlier. This is a customer journey. This is this is how businesses operate. If you're not looking at these numbers, you have no idea what's going on. Jack, we never thought about that. The bounce rate being high, and it's, yeah, absolutely. Also, your CPM will be high if people don't like your ad. If your ad is a hardcore, like, buy now from me because it's somebody that's really good at email or search running your ads, you're going to just pay higher CPMs. You're going to complain that Facebook is broken and it's going to be really bad over and over again. And the more ads you launch, they're bad, the faster it's going to depreciate. And the only reason you knew ads work is they're launch at the bottom of the funnel. So the only way you're successful is by launching more and more shitty ads. And the only way you stay ahead of the depreciation wave is by launching more and more ads. You are forced to spend more and more time and effort launching more and more ads to get more and more low-hanging fruit before the tidal wave just smashes and destroys your business. Hopefully you can make it all the way to Black Friday, so that because the business exists and the work of everybody else in the company, the business didn't fail, so that you don't get fired and you can float that boat taking credit for all of their success so you can make it to the next year and then eventually you'll get fired. Or you can understand how the platform works and basically not destroy businesses for a living. And I'm not saying this is you. I'm just saying most direct response marketers are shit at Facebook ads. And that's why 90% of those people are popular for a year or two, and then they disappear. Look at Ashton Shanks, right? Like, just blew up, and then blew up, right? There's a million of those guys. D-Mac, I'm getting many add to cart, initiate checkout, but few purchase. Tried lowering price, but nothing changed. Raise your price. Simple. I don't care how many add to carts become initiate checkouts, how many purchases I get. If people are actually willing to buy, make them spend more money. And then work on the ads. Work on your landing page. Honestly, here's the metrics you need to understand. If your conversion rate is below 1%, your landing page is shit. If your conversion rate is over 3%, you are not spending enough money on ads. If you can't afford to spend more money on ads, your price is too low. Done. Ecom Teddy. Yeah, that helps confirm my thesis about CPMs of certain landing pages. Since I've went a bit too crazy in my advertorial claims and CPMs are like $100, yeah. Be less of a scammy person, giving people a shitty experience, and a place that sells you people that cares about their happiness will sell them to you for cheaper. Easy. I launched CBO campaign with 3 ad set every 3 days. I create a new ad set, but the initial ad set takes 99% of spend. First off, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Why would the new ads get any spend? The machine already knows how the other ads work. What you're telling me is you've clearly identified that your strategy of throwing a ton of spaghetti at the wall doesn't work because the machine doesn't like any of the new ideas because it already knows what you're doing someplace else. I'd argue that from the looks of this, you probably have a dozen ads live, maybe half a dozen ad sets. You shouldn't launch another ad for the rest of the month. You could probably make it a month before you launch more ads. If you're not trying to sell, but DMAC, jump into the academy. We'll walk you through all of this stuff. It's $100 a month. It'll pay for itself in a week. And it'll 10x your investment by the end of the month, guaranteed, or your money back. Okay, fair enough. All right. So is direct response kind of bad to run Facebook ads? Yeah, absolutely. I've never seen a hardcore DR marketer be successful. Oh shit, Eric O, MBA grad, went from the inner circle to the MBA, dude. I hope you're doing well in that palace in the sky you got yourself, man. It's fantastic to see you, Eric. All right, Retta. Hey, Charlie, is it more that these metrics don't matter or they don't matter if you don't have any sales? No, Retta, they don't matter. Hook rate, hold rate, ROAS, CTR, CPC, none of those things actually tell you if that ad is making you any money. And I'd argue that ads with a really good hook rate and a really good hold rate with a really good CTR or really good the ads that are really, really good at keeping the attention of people that have no interest in buying from you are the reason the rest of your business is struggling. Because you're training the machine to go after people who are just really interested in what you have to say, but not interested in what you have to sell. All right. Stop attracting the attention to people that care about what you have to say. Start focusing on attracting the attention of people that care about what you have to sell, or you won't have anything else to sell. And you'll just have a wonderful audience that cares about your message while you're broke. All right. Everybody, I got to teach a class. Disruptor School is live in 2 minutes. So I'm going to say hello. I'm going to say goodbye. Hope you're all doing well. If you haven't joined the academy, I don't know what you're doing. It's less. If I can make you $4 more a day, it will pay for itself right away. If I can make you $100 in your first week, you will 4x your investment on the first month. You're not going to get that return anywhere else. Invest in yourself or constantly chasing other things. DMAC, I love it. Let me know when you come in. Be like, hey, I'm the guy or the gal from the chat. You were just hitting me up. My conversion rate is 0.4. Competitors have a shitty page, but they're getting more. Look, shitty pages sell. All right. Really sexy pages are usually the reason that you can't sell a product. Product price is 170 doesn't mean anything. Sounds to me like you need to really ramp up the quality of your landing page and tell the story, and then just get ads designed for that really great sales page. All right, everyone. I'll see you later. Stay tuned to the channel. Please like, comment, subscribe. I will drop a link when this goes live. So you can join the MBA program right below. And please check out the Academy channel. We're pushing an amazing course video live, and it might go live today. I don't know. I got to talk to Dan from Marpipe because we're working on this together. It'll probably be live by Sunday. 2 hours on how to master catalog ads. If you're running catalog ads, I don't know how to tell you how profitable you be because of it. I mean, it's literally like how I help brands go from wasting hundreds a day to making millions a week. And if you feel like that is hyperbole, you clearly don't know my track record. All right, everyone. See you later. Bye.